5:14 a.m. somewhere south of Liberal, Kansas, just over the Texas line. The temperature is 61 degrees and dropping. In 3 hours, it will be 94. 14 combines sit in a gravel lot beside a grain elevator. Engines cold, cab lights off, 12 semi-trucks parked in 2 rows, trailers still empty from last night's run south. A field mechanic walks the line with a flashlight, checking hydraulic fittings, checking tires. He's been doing this for 22 years. He doesn't need the light. He does it anyway. In the sleeper cab of the lead truck, a crew foreman named Dale is on the phone. Moisture readings came in at 13.2% overnight. Target is 13.5. He'll make the call at 7 a.m. That decision, to cut or to hold, costs money either way. Too wet, and the grain elevator docks your load. Too dry, and the heads shatter in the wind before you reach them. This crew has been on the road since May 27th. They started in the Texas Panhandle near Dalhart. They're currently in their 3rd week. 6 more weeks lie ahead. Oklahoma, central Kansas, Nebraska, and finally South Dakota, where the wheat matures last. They will travel roughly 1,400 miles before it's over. They will not go home until August. Every June, something rare happens across the American Great Plains. Not a storm, not a disaster. A wave, winter wheat, planted the previous fall, dormant through winter, resurrected by spring, begins to ripen in the Texas Panhandle around the 1st week of June. The ripening line then moves north at roughly 100 miles per week, following temperature and daylight as the season rolls toward the Canadian border. The window at any given location is 10 to 14 days, 14 days to cut every acre. Then the window closes. Rain can knock ripe wheat flat. Hailstones strip the heads clean. Heat sends moisture levels below 10%, and the grain begins to shatter in the field before a combine blade ever reaches it. Timing is everything, and timing waits for no one. Into this window steps one of the most coordinated seasonal labor movements in the world. Between 1,500 and 2,000 custom combining operations work this corridor every summer. Each outfit typically runs 3 to 5 combines, paired with grain carts, semi-trucks, and the support vehicles that carry the parts, the fuel, and the people who keep the machines alive. Some of these operations are family-run, a father, his sons, a hired mechanic. Others are larger crews, running 8 combines simultaneously across fields they'll never own, working ground they visit once a year, every year, for decades. 7:03 a.m. Dale gives the word. Moisture is at 13.4. Good enough. The first combine rolls into the field at 7:08. The header, a 40-foot wide cutting bar, drops to 4 inches above the soil. The reel begins to spin, feeding wheat stalks into the throat of the machine. Inside, the threshing cylinder separates grain from chaff at 1,000 revolutions per minute. The clean grain rises by auger into the holding tank. The straw shoots out the back in a wide golden fan. Within 20 minutes, all 5 combines are in the field. The sound, diesel engines at full load, grain elevators churning, straw chopper hammering, fills 3 miles of open air. The grain cart operator is the most important person in the field, not the combine operators. The cart driver. When a combine's holding tank hits capacity, roughly 300 bushels, it has to unload without stopping. The grain cart pulls alongside at exactly matching speed, receives the load through a side auger, and carries it to the waiting semi at the field's edge. A good cart operator can unload a combine in 4 minutes without either machine slowing down. A bad one costs you 20 minutes of stopped harvest time. By 10:30 a.m., 3 semi-loads are headed for the elevator. The first truck is already back. By noon, the crew has cut 480 acres. Temperature 97 degrees. Wind 18 miles per hour from the southwest. Dust in the air. The cab air conditioning on Combine 3 is running weak. The operator, a young man from central Oklahoma named Marcus, has been in this cab since 7 a.m. He drinks water. He watches the yield monitor. He does not stop. 1:47 p.m. Combine 4 drops out of the line. A bearing in the feeder house has failed. The machine shudders. The operator kills the header and calls on the radio. The field mechanic is there in 6 minutes. Parts are on the service truck. This is not an emergency. It is a calculation. The repair takes 54 minutes. The other 4 combines do not stop. They cannot. Every minute of downtime on a single combine during peak harvest costs roughly $80 to $150 in lost contract income. Equipment failure is a managed cost, not a crisis. At 2:41 p.m., Combine 4 rolls back into the field. Dale marks the time on his clipboard. Says nothing. 6 miles from the field, the grain elevator is running full. The semi pulls onto the scale. Weight recorded, ticket printed. The truck backs over the intake pit and the hopper opens. 2,000 bushels of hard red winter wheat drops into a concrete pit, pulled by auger up into the storage leg, pushed by blower into a waiting bin. The whole process takes 11 minutes. The driver pulls back onto the highway. Before the dust from the previous truck has settled, the elevator operator, a third-generation family operation in Meade County, will receive over 800,000 bushels this harvest season. Most of it will sit in these bins for months. Some will go to a flour mill in Hutchinson. Some will export through Gulf Coast terminals in Houston or Corpus Christi. The crew doesn't track where their wheat goes. That's not their business. Their business is the next field. 3 days after arriving in Meade County, the crew is packing. The combines are cleaned, headers folded and pinned for transport. The service truck is restocked. The portable fuel tank is refilled. They're headed north. Pratt County. The wheat is ready. Dale has been running this crew for 19 years. He's cut wheat in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota every summer since 2006. The route is the same. The variables never are. The custom combining workforce is aging. Everyone in the industry knows it. No one has solved it. The average custom harvester is in his late 50s. The craft, knowing how to run a combine at optimal settings, reading the field for wet spots and down crop, managing yield without losing ground speed, takes years to develop. It isn't something learned in a training video. Marcus, the young operator on Combine 3, is 26. He followed his uncle into the business 4 years ago. He started driving semi-trucks in the harvest convoy at 22, moved to a combine cab at 24. He's still learning. Every field is different. Every crop condition a new equation. He eats lunch in the shade of the service truck. 30 minutes, then back in the cab. The field doesn't wait for lunch. For the migratory workers who follow the harvest wave, and there are hundreds of them, this life is the routine, not the exception. 60-day stretches away from home. Sleeping in truck cabs, in harvest camp trailers, in motels on the edge of small towns. Meals at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. Phone calls home in the dark. But the pay is real. And for men who know machinery, the work is skilled. Custom operators can earn between $28 and $45 per hour. The work is seasonal. But so is the money. Day 17. Central Kansas. A storm system is building in Colorado. Forecast calls for possible hail by Thursday evening. Today is Tuesday. The crew has roughly 52 hours. Dale makes the call, run as long as light and dew point allow. 20-hour days if necessary. Night harvest is not uncommon. Operators who have been in the cab since 6 a.m. are making precision decisions at 11 p.m. by the light of LED field lamps and cab monitors. By midnight Tuesday, the crew has cut 1,100 acres. By 4 a.m., they've added another 600. They stop for 4 hours. They start again at sunrise. The storm arrives Thursday at 7:18 p.m. By then, 3,600 acres are cut, harvested, delivered. The remaining 1,200 acres take the hail, not a disaster. A loss. There's a difference. The wheat follows the sun north. The crews follow the wheat. By mid-July, the wave has reached southwestern Nebraska. The fields here are larger. The elevators farther apart. The combines need recalibration for the heavier stalks. By late July, the final push. South Dakota. The wheat here matures almost a full month after Texas. The days are long, sometimes 16 hours of usable cutting light. The nights are cold enough to see your breath. This is the end of the wave, and the crews know it. Some crews have been on the road for 58 days at this point. The combines have rolled thousands of hours on their engine meters. Service trucks have replaced dozens of belts, chains, bearings, and seals. The conversation at camp, when there is time for conversation, is about what comes next. Some crews will head directly to corn harvest in September. Others will go home for 6 weeks before the cycle begins again. Day 61. The last pass. The final combine completes the headland row and lifts its header. The engine drops from full load to idle. The grain tank reads full. A grain cart is already moving. In total, this crew has cut 42,800 acres across 5 states. They've delivered grain to 19 different elevators. The semi-trucks have collectively hauled more than 11 million pounds of wheat. The field is quiet now, stubble where the wheat stood, tire tracks in the soil, the smell of cut straw still in the air. Dale walks the field edge one last time before the convoy loads, not inspecting, not managing, just looking. 19 years of doing this, and he still walks the last edge of every field. The combines are loaded by 7 p.m. The convoy pulls south before dark. The grain is in the bins. The wheat is in the system. The field goes quiet. Until next season. Under this video, there's a subscribe button. It's a small action, but it helps document the work that happens before the shelves are stocked. If you're drawn to the rhythm of the harvest, to the crews who move with the seasons, subscribing simply means you want to see how America feeds itself. And tell us, where are you watching from? Have you ever worked a harvest? Have you seen one? Share your experience below. That's how these stories travel.